Welcome, everybody. I've got Couture from the Lord of the Rings Players Council, and we're here to talk about the Virtual Set 3. We're going to spoil 13 cards, go over some new mechanics, talk about release date. This is the biggest set you guys have ever done. Am I right there?
Yep, 130 cards, bigger even than a regular Decipher expansion set at 122. It's almost twice the size of the first V1. So yeah, it's big.
This is awesome. It's a cool achievement to re-releasing. I've said this to the Star Wars guys, where it's like this is possibly the dream job of a younger version of myself before I figured out what bills were and things. But like designing card games and mechanics, so I'm really happy you guys are doing this, and thanks for letting me preview some of the stuff that we're going to be looking over. But what an epic title slide we have here. My God. So is it called the Pelennor
It's called the
Fields?
Pelennor Fields. Yep,
That's
that'll
a
be
great card, like set name, Pelennor Fields.
Yep, it's all so the other two V sets were based on Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers, and so the Pelennor Fields is our kind of our first pass at the Return of the King, doing just like what those other two sets did. We're adding supplementary concepts to the sorts of things that were explored in King Block. So we're shoring up some of those strategies and also exploring some of the things that were in the books or in the movie that were not explored in the Decipher cards. And so yeah, we're just giving it that exact same treatment.
Do we have a release date before we get too into this? Like, is this coming soon? How soon are we talking?
Yep. So we're going to be releasing it to the public on right around mid-December, maybe around December 15th. I think that's a Saturday. Right around then for public testing. We're going to be issuing a set of balance changes in January. So I think January will be the official release, but things will be out before then. And then we'll look at it for a month or two and see how it goes, if there's any changes that need to be done based on things that people discover. We have done a lot of playtesting, more playtesting than we've done for any other set. But, when you only have like 20 people looking at it versus the 500 some odd people that are out there, like things are going to get missed. So
yeah, totally understand. And so I don't know how you would have gotten to this point in the video without knowing what GEMP is, but if you don't know what GEMP is, there's a link in the video description. You can play it all for free. All these cards will be available. But are you guys also going to do sort of the virtual slip, sort of where you can?
Yep. Yeah, we've actually stolen the same VKit tool that the Star Wars guys have. We have our own version of that, and so yeah, you'll be able to use it to print off the cards if you prefer to do it that way. In fact, we've had a couple of playtesters that all their playtesting has been done physically, so they were using a beta version of the set to print off and play, and then but it will all be coded and available and released on GEMP, so you can play it digitally and do it there like everyone does.
I was telling you before the video, but like I really am not trying to just swoon or anything. Like GEMP looks great. You guys have done a great job taking it from like the Matrix 1 to like the Matrix 3, like movie wise. Like it looks better than it did. And I appreciate it. It looks almost like a modern product.
almost, but not quite. Yeah, that's getting past that gap is something that's actually a little bit beyond our own skill set. But it is the dream to eventually make it look like a modern app, so that it's not stuck in the 90s.
All right. Well, let's kind of get moving here. But by the numbers, what are we looking at here? So this is 130 cards.
Yep.
40 errata. When you say Return of the King focus, is this also Mount Doom and Siege of Gondor? It's not just
King Block is really what it is. So it's just focusing on the thematic stuff of Return of the King, just like those three sets were. So this slide here just kind of shows a breakdown. Where are those 130 cards going? This doesn't count the errata. So you can see that there's quite a big focus on Raider and Gondor and Ringwraith. All those big moments during the Siege of Gondor, and there's a good number of Gondor wraiths that we're going to go over and stuff like that in the future. But and then here on the left, you can also kind of see kind of a strategic breakdown, like what kinds of things, like not even looking at the cultures, what sorts of things are being represented. Right at the top, you can see that one of the things we're trying to do is bring pipeweed back, because that's something that was really big back in Fellowship Block, and Return of the King has a lot of pipeweed stuff in it. So it's a good chance for us to revisit that old stuff. We've also got, like I said, Gondor wraiths. There's a new subsection, a new subculture we're calling Empowered Nazgul, that are all just kind of based on those Nazgul attacking the city, and we're empowered by Sauron, and
Did you say
So
empowered Nazgul?
empowered Nazgul, yeah. So
Okay.
so in the books, the Witch King in particular was kind of given this power up right before he went to fight Minas Tirith, and it was strong enough that he was supposed to be able to go toe to toe with Gandalf, which previously he had not been able to. And so we kind of took that idea that, oh well, if Sauron is making the Nazgul better, we're gonna make more expensive, bigger versions of the Nazgul, all nine of them. And so just kind of take them from that angle of let's see a really beefed up version of every single one of these Nazgul. So
Huh.
that's yeah.
I mean, this is cool. I really like. I love the Raider, which is the catch-all for like Umber, Easterlings, whatever. But I love them getting some love because I think it's such a cool kind of random culture in Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
there's a lot of stuff in it, right? Now, a lot of this focus is going to be the Southrons, specifically because of the Mumax. I feel like Decipher did not do a good job with the Mumax in the game. They're +3 strength and it makes the bearer fierce, and that's it. And it's kind of like that's the best you could do. A big giant elephant that is able to go toe to toe with all the Rohirrim, and it's +3 strength and fierce. Come on, you can do better than that. So we're doing better than that. That's exactly what we're going to be doing with those Southrons, and we've also got stuff for Corsairs and a couple of small things for Easterlings as well. So yeah, I mean that's the time where this culture shines, is this big fight in front of Minas Tirith. So
Okay, so let's get into stuff a little bit. So we have some new mechanics.
yeah,
Relentless.
so a bit of a word strategically. One of the big goals that we had for V3, for the PC, was that we wanted to make sure that we got our feet wet as far as adding brand new mechanics, because a lot of the stuff that we've done up till now has been using all the same pieces that Decipher left us, and some of the big vision, some of the big stuff that we're looking to do in the next few years are going to require us to add brand new things that have never been added to the game before. And so we wanted to get some experience, doing that, creating stuff out of nothing, and designing them from the ground up, and figuring out all the rules, figuring out all the programming for it, and all that kind of stuff. So this is an example of there's three different new mechanics that we are adding, kind of a small, medium, and large. This is the smallest one because we're actually taking a mechanic that already existed in the game, but we're codifying it. So there was a card called the Witch King's Beast, that did pretty much this, what the new Relentless keyword does, that after fierce skirmishes end, you also have basically another fierce phase, except it'll be just for the Relentless minions that then you have to fight a third time. And so here's an example of one of the new cards from V3. We have Ungoliant's Get here. Says, so it's a condition in the support area. Each time Shelob loses a skirmish, you may play a Gollum item from your discard pile. So this is more related to trying to make Eater of Light Web decks work a little bit better. But then the response here: if Shelob wins a skirmish and there are 4 minions stacked on Gollum items, hinder this to make her relentless until the regroup phase. She participates in 1 extra round of skirmishes after Fierce. So there's that helper text there. So this is just a way to, some of those decks can get Shelob very big and nasty, but a big and nasty Shelob sometimes is not enough. So being able to have her skirmish 1 more time on a particular site can really give you that chance to dig in.
I mean, I also like. I'm excited to see the cards. I haven't seen them all myself, but you guys are doing a great job as far as the way they look and feel. So, I mean, this just looks like a scary spider's lair. Something's going on there. Like it's just, you got the feel down.
Yeah.
Okay, so Relentless is a new mechanic.
Yep.
We got some 2.3 uniqueness.
So
okay.
This is something you may recognize from the Star Wars TCG. We're actually plucking this straight out of their book. They had multiple levels of uniqueness, where a single dot means you can only have 1 copy in play, but 2 dots means you can have 2 copies in play. 3 dots means you can have three copies in play. So we're basically just kind of lifting that entire concept right over. For the most part, we actually anticipate this being used for balance purposes. There have been multiple times where we are in the process of trying to errata a card, and we have an effect that is too strong when you have 4 copies on the table, but too weak when you only have 1. And so we're like, okay, we want to be able to say you can only have 2 copies in play, or you can only have 3 copies in play, as kind of a balance lever for our errata in the future. But there's still some cool thematic stuff that you can do with 2 dot things. So for instance, here on the screen, you can see the Kirith Ungol Watchers. These are in the movies, but they're in a bit of a blink and you miss it moment. They're not really elaborated on. But there's a whole moment in the books where Sam is trying to get into Cirith Ungol, and he's stopped by these watchers, these spirits that are in these statues, and they kind of throw up a force field, and he's not able to get through. So what we have here is we have a card that can allow you to have 2 copies of these watchers in play. And so the top part of the text there says to play spot. So there's 2 things. Let's just look at the Sauron one for a moment. So it says to play, spot a Sauron card and add a threat. Each time a companion exerts, draw a card, limit once per site. So this is kind of Sam hitting that force field for the first time. They know that something's there, but they can't quite keep him out entirely. But then the second time that he comes through, after he's rescued Frodo and he's trying to get out, they're able to really stop him. And he has to pull out the Phial of Galadriel, and him and Frodo have to chant some elven stuff before they're able to get through. And then they set off the alarm and say, hey, something's gotten through us. We need to let the Nazgul know. And so that's kind of represented here by this second ability. Response: if a companion is exerted by a Free People's card, discard another Cirith Ungol Watcher to add 3 threats and hinder that companion. And we'll get to hinder in a moment. But so it's kind of this big moment of, okay, now we've got 2 copies in play. We're watching you. You've exerted. Now we're going to burn one of the copies, and we're going to do something bad to your companion that dared to try and make himself known. So
I mean, I think this seems like a good balancing mechanism, especially as you move forward, right?
Yeah.
Just having this exist seems like it makes a lot of sense as far as keeping things from getting out of hand. Hinder to restore. Okay.
So yeah, so this is the big one, right? This is the brand new mechanic that we're adding that did not exist in the game and has no analog whatsoever. And so the hinder mechanic is a verb that you perform on cards. When you hinder a card, you flip it face down. While it is face down, you can't spot it, you can't use it. It's almost out of play for most purposes. So it's almost kind of like a temporary discard is how I often thought of it when I was developing it, is that for all intents and purposes, you just can't use it while this card is hindered. And then the sister mechanic there is restore, where you just flip the card back face up, and so it resumes activity. And the key here is that we have attached restoring to whenever a player reconciles, they automatically restore all of their hindered cards. And so this makes hinder kind of a temporary mechanic by nature, that if a shadow card hinders a Free People's card, then that's it, it's being hindered all the way until they reconcile at the very end of the turn. But if a Free People's card hinders a shadow card, that's only going to be hindered until they reconcile during the regroup phase, right? So it's a bit asymmetric between the two, but it's kind of an enforced temporary measure, so that you're not going to just be nuking people's support areas and all your cards are gone now that you spent all game setting up. Now we're going to be keying cards a lot too, just doing these temporary measures of, for this site, I'm not going to be affected by this card, but it will come back later and I'll have to worry about it then.
I mean, I think that's an interesting way to do it. I was hoping actually it wasn't restored at the end, because it's sort of nice to think about, okay, I'm basically just going to forfeit this turn, this site to get rid of Aragorn's sword, right? And that's the purpose of my guys here, is to nerf Aragorn a little bit. But this also makes sense, and it also
you
makes
can already discard, right? Discard already does that. So
right.
This is So this will offer a lot more options, both design wise and flavor wise. Design wise, we've been finding that there's a lot of interesting ways for costs, so that you can have a card that says hinder this card to do such and such. And so it's almost like tapping in Magic the Gathering, right? Where it's sort of self-enforces in a way to make sure that it doesn't go off the deep end.
Cool. All right. So is this also one of the new cards?
Yeah. So this is one of the V3 cards. So so this Corsair Quartermaster. So like I said, we've got some Corsairs that are coming in. Cost of 6, 12 strength, 3 vitality. At the start of each skirmish involving this minion, the Free People's player may hinder any number of Free People's items on a character in that skirmish. So if he's going up against Aragorn, the Free People's player can decide to hinder Anduril or whatever else he's holding. And then after that's been done, this minion is damage +1 for each Free People's item you can spot on each character in its skirmish. So this guy's a pirate. He's going to take your stuff, and he's going to be more dangerous for it. So you can hide it if you want, right? You can hinder your sword and keep it away from him. And if you do, of course, you'll be a little bit weaker. But if you don't, he's going to be damage +1, and so now you gotta balance out. Is he going to kill you if you try to hold onto your stuff a little bit too tightly? So.
That's a fun like yin and yang kind of
Yeah.
thing. Okay, well designed.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's get into the actual. I
Yeah.
think we have 11 left here, maybe 10.
Yeah, something like that. So let's just go on down the list. Yeah, so there's not everything is going to be based around Hinder. A huge amount of the set is playing with Hinder in one way or another, but there's lots of other stuff that aren't. So here we've got this Gandalf event. Show them the meaning of haste. It's a maneuver or skirmish event. Exert Gandalf thrice, meaning 3 times, or spot Shadowfax and exert Gandalf once to reveal another Free People's event from your hand. Play that event 3 times, then remove it from the game. So this is kind of a, he's really trying to rush and help things happen. And so you're going to pull out one of these other impactful events that you've got and play it 3 times, which, may be what you need. If it's a skirmish event, if it's a maneuver event that does wounding or something like that. So this will hopefully be one of those things fitting right into Gandalf culture where he's able to slot in with other cultures and really enable them to do things. So,
it seems like a good like general tech card. Also, show the meaning of haste. Good.
Yeah.
Great. Like you picked a good iconic line. I can't believe it's not a card already. So
there's a lot of situations where we've looked at that and been like, why isn't there a card like that? Like Decipher never printed a card called Fly, you fools. Which is we haven't either, to be fair, but that's because we thought surely Decipher already covered that, but yeah, well, can't get everything, I guess.
Oh, release the prisoners also.
Release the so this one's a little more grisly, right? So this is a Sauron condition, goes to the support area. During the maneuver phase, you can exert a Sauron minion and remove a companion in the dead pile from the game to exert every character sharing a culture with that companion. And then you discard the condition. So
interesting. Okay, so you exert a minion, can remove a companion from the dead pile. So this could really, like, if you don't have diversity in your fellowship, this could really hit you, right?
Yeah, this is pretty much focusing down mono decks, and pretty much everything in movie is a mono deck of some flavor or another. So if you let someone die that's in your major culture, they'll chop it up and send it right back to you and horrify everybody with an exertion across the board. So, yeah.
And this does not have the unique signal, so I guess you could play this 4 times.
Yeah, you could have a whole bunch of them. Like, now one of the things about this too is that since it is a condition, people could remove it. They'll see it coming, but you very well could set up a very big, massive push against somebody if you have a bunch of these in play and you're getting rid of a bunch of bodies out of the dead pile.
Okay, cool. I honestly I want to do thumbs up, thumbs down. All these have been thumbs up so far, so thumbs up.
Yeah, let us know if it's terrible. There's still time.
I'm not. I will just keep it to myself forever. Pippin's pipe.
Yeah. So the while there were a lot of pipes and pipeweed in the very first set, Pippin and Merry were not one of the ones that have their pipes represented. And of course, they have that moment in Isengard where they're sitting at the gates when everyone else comes up, and when they find the pipeweed in Isengard. So we're going to be representing that here, and we're going to be taking this chance to hopefully modernize the pipeweed set of tools a little bit. So here's just a very simple example where this Pippin's pipe can be played on an unbound hobbit. And then just like all pipe actions, you discard a pipeweed to do something. And in this case, you remove X threats, where X is the number of pipes you can spot. And then just to kind of show that, this is where Hinder can really just sort of be interesting as a use. You can then hinder the pipe. You then have to either hinder the pipe or hinder the bearer. So if you have a Merry or Pippin that's with you, and you really only have him there because you want to get the tech with these pipes, you can use that self-hinder on the Hobbit itself to make sure that he can't be assigned to skirmishes, can't really be targeted down by other cards. Like, you want to have them for their use, but you don't want to expose them to combat. Well, here you go. Here's a good way for you to keep them hidden from the enemy. So.
Oh, I guess hinder as a defensive tactic. That's interesting.
Yeah, because if they're not in play, you can't be assigned, can't be wounded, you can't be anything. It even reduces the number of companions you can spot. So if you're worried about having 6 companions out because Shotgun and Quaya or something is going to come through and start hitting you, you can hinder one of your own companions to get below that level.
So I guess you could toss this on Frodo and he's hindered. And
so Bear must be an unbound hobbit. So Frodo's ring bound. Yeah, so it can't go on him. Yeah, we've had to be very careful about what can and cannot hinder the ring bearer, because that would that could be too potent in certain situations.
And I guess you can't hinder the One Ring, right?
So in theory, you can. All of the current avenues, all the current cards that could hit the One Ring, we have given text that says accept the One Ring. I'm not cutting it out entirely. There might be a situation where it makes sense for us to do that, but for now, there's no rule stopping it. But in theory, it could happen.
Okay. All right. Next card here. Oh, Pippin Troll Slayer.
So this is another one of the sub themes that we're going to be dealing with in V3. In the Decipher game, there are two characters that got printed in multiple cultures. One of them was Saruman, and the other was Aragorn. And Aragorn, for some reason, they gave him a Rohan version of Aragorn, and I've always thought that was like, why? Why was that the
It was
one?
kind of random.
Yeah, why was that the one time that you decided to make this happen? Especially when there's such an obvious case of, the two hobbits here that really kind of ingrained themselves into the culture that they got adopted into. So here we got a version of Pippin that is straight up just a Gondor companion. So he's a knight, so he can go along with your knight stuff. And we've also, to try and make him more martial, we've given him the enduring keyword. And so enduring means that if for every wound that character has, they are strength +2. Because normally hobbits, of course, are not very good strength-wise, but they are very good vitality-wise. And so that keyword really kind of dovetails very nicely to turn their strengths into something that shores up their weaknesses. So his skirmish ability, because he's a troll slayer, we didn't see this in the movie, but in the book, he did manage to kill a troll during the big fight in front of the Black Gate. Exert Pippin twice, so of course you're going to get those 2 wounds, and thus that +4 strength off of that. To make a minion he is skirmishing, lose all keywords until the regroup phase. So this will get rid of fierce, get rid of damage, get rid of enduring, get rid of whatever else might be making that particular minion very big and scary. So yeah, there's our troll slayer.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know what the knight keyword did because I don't play King Block at all. Isn't so like I get maybe it was before King Block, but I'm glad I learned that now. What knight is?
I'm actually not entirely certain if they had Knights and Towers block, but in King block, there's a whole set of cards based around fortifications, and fortifications will they're conditions that have like -3 strength or -1 vitality or something on them, and you transfer them from the support area to a minion, and usually they have costs like you have to either exert a Gondor man or you have to spot 3 knights. And so if you have enough knights, then you're able to just hide behind the fortifications and throw them at minions to kill them. So this Pippin's going to count as a knight, and so he'll go right along with that.
Okay, cool. We got a few left here. Oh, wow. You give me the good ones here.
So Mouth of Sauron. So this is another one that we're doing the multicultural thing. We've actually got 3 different Mouths of Sauron that are going to be printed here. One in one of 3 different cultures. So this is the Raider version. All 3 of them are going to have the Lurker keyword, which is a mechanic that was in set 13, I think. Might have been earlier, but it's in the Shadows sets that almost nobody plays in the movie era. So Lurker basically means that this minion cannot be skirmished until the end. You have to do all the other minion skirmishes before you can do this minion. And so almost all Lurkers have some sort of game text that allows them to pump up other skirmishes. So it prevents you from just killing him off right at the very beginning in a big skirmish, so that his text doesn't come into effect. So his text is, your shadow events are Twilight cost -1. Raider, of course, having some very big bombastic events like Red Wrath and other big things like that. He's going to help with that. But then also, as a response, if a minion is about to take a wound, exert this minion to prevent that wound and hinder a free people's weapon. So he's kind of supposed to be this emissary, right? He's an ambassador. You're not supposed to kill him. In the movie, Aragorn cut off his head. But in the books, they were very much trying to be, acknowledge the truce under the flag and everything like that. So you can't actually lift a weapon against this guy, right? So he's gonna stop you and make you put your weapon away.
Cool. He said that he's 3. That seems reasonable, like cost wise,
Yep. Yeah. And that stat line and everything is just pulled from the existing Mouths of Sauron. I think they didn't make a Mouth of Sauron until set 12 or 13 or something. But so we've pulled it over here into King block.
Okay, we got some Gollum or Sméagol love here.
Gollum and Sméagol ones. And so this is another one where we've kind of pulled a little bit from the Star Wars CCG. They do this a lot where they have a dark and a light version of a particular card. And in the case of Gollum and Sméagol, it only makes sense to do something very similar. So in this case, they're both almost the same card. 2 mines of it and 2 faced. During the fellowship or maneuver or skirmish phase, you restore Sméagol or Gollum, and then you may spot Sméagol if he's not the ring bearer and add a threat to replace him with another Sméagol from your discard pile. Keep all tokens and born cards. So you're basically doing a persona replacement from Star Wars. So it can give you a chance to maybe do some tricky things and swap out different versions of Sméagol for when you need it. And same thing with Gollum and even Shelob. The shadow version of this is actually expanded a little bit further to allow you to do it to any Gollum culture minion. So Gollum or Shelob. So you might come in with a Shelob her ladyship and get her trigger off, and then swap her for a version of Eater of Light and get different text during the actual skirmishes. Like there's options available.
Very cool. I mean, I honestly haven't really played a lot of Gollum Sméagol stuff. I know it exists, Ninja Gollum. It's just it's not my style, you know.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right. Ooh, a site.
Yeah. So
highway.
One of the biggest sins of King Block is that Decipher had been telling us for 3 years at that point that kind of the whole point of the game was to get Frodo from Bag End all the way to Mount Doom. And then they had the absolute audacity to never print any Mount Doom sites during King Block, at least. they did this later, but they never gave us the chance to actually go to Mount Doom and throw the ring into the lava, right? So we're going to be fixing that. So we have a series of Site 8s and Site 9s. There's going to be 4 Site 8s and 5 Site 9s, all of which are based around getting up to Mount Doom. So we can finally throw the ring in. So this one, Site 8, is Gorgoroth Highway. All characters lose all strength bonuses from weapons and instead gain enduring. So if your shadow is not really set up with a bunch of weapons, and you know that the Free Peoples is like they're dwarves or something, and they're relying very much on their weapons, you can use this to kind of flip things around and give yourself a bit more of an advantage.
Remind me, what does enduring do again?
So enduring is the one where for every wound that your character has, their strength +2.
Okay,
so,
that's right.
Yeah. Same thing that has.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I've always wanted to go to Mordor.
Yeah, why not? It's great this time of year.
Ooh, this is a great one. Doom Causeway.
And so here we've got ourselves, it's mountain and underground, which may matter for some things, as well as a battleground. Each time a card is hindered, instead you discard it. And each time a character is exerted, you also wound it. So, this is the end of the game. Things are finally happening. If I get an exertion off, it's basically going to double itself. So you'll get the exert and then the wound as well. Everybody's clawing at each other. This is the end of the game, right? So it's your last chance to really start tearing things down. So,
I mean, I love this, like the image, like everything. This is great. I'm glad you guys are finally giving a little love to 8 and 9. I feel like there's just always limited options when I sit there and look through. I'm like, all right, you got like 3, right? You can use kind of.
Yeah, the King Block site path is not great. And that was actually one of the reasons why for PC Movie, we changed it to a multipath format. So you could come with either Fellowship Towers or King site block. You could pick which one you were going to build your deck around. But King has always been a little weak. And so, yeah, we're definitely going to be pumping it up a little bit. All of these site 9s are killer. They are very lethal. None of this weak sauce. Oh, will you move here and you add 2 threats? Who cares? Like, this is somebody's dying today at these sites, because that is, it's the end of the game. There should be some blood.
So there was 10 sites? So it's mostly 8 and 9, right? There's not.
So it's 9 sites. Site 9 is the last site. So
no, I meant that, like, there was 10 sites, I think, if we go back to the amount of
yeah, in V3, yeah. So 4 are going to be site 8s, 5 are going to be site 9s, and then there's 1 that is related to Pipeweed at site 1. So
okay, so yeah, that's what I meant. It's all concentrated at the end.
Yeah. We're just focusing on the end here, because really the idea was, well, we never got any Mountain Doom, so how about 5 Mountain Dooms? Like, you can really really take your pick. All sorts of different ways that it can go wrong for you.
Well, this is very cool. I really like what you guys are doing, and the art choice, the branding. I like how you're being brave, right, with your choices. You're not sort of tiptoeing and just saying like, well, and I think that's what this game needs, and sort of the stewards of it, and moving it into the modern age, because ultimately, like, you got to compete with modern games, and people are just like, the gaming environment has changed since 2007 when this went out of print, right? And like that's okay. Just like you need to modernize things a little bit to keep up with the modern audience.
Yep, that's exactly what we're after. We have some very big plans, and this is really just kind of our first little baby toehold into it. Is really starting with some brand new stuff to get our feet wet, and we have some interesting things that we're going to be doing over the next few years. But this will be just a small taste of what we're looking to do.
Well, thank you for sharing this, Katora, and we're looking forward to the new set coming out. Any final thoughts here before we log off?
Nope, just see you all mid-December. We'll have it all released. Just come play games over the Christmas holidays and kick the tires and see what it's like. It's going to
Sounds
be great
great.
fun.
Go spend some time on your computer during Christmas. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I do.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.